And one more Sam. We got one more. I know he was making fun of this one because he was always curious as why he thought to just put that foot on the back there like that.
I was like, okay, a perfect example of like sometimes you have a limited amount of real estate and you just got to do whatever you can to shoehorn that image in there. So
Right?
yeah,
He's like, you paid for full body, you're getting full
you're
body.
you're getting it. You might get it to be continued on the next sketch cover, but you're gonna get full body.
I really love this his own creator own character. The only thing that really bums me is that I was the second person to ask for a commission about it. But
Oh,
Oh, Santera, yes.
very cool. So, Jose, how many Santera comics have you actually released?
The first, I released the first one, and
Oh,
I'm currently working on the second one, which will be out this year actually.
okay.
Um, so it's going to be an ongoing series, and the concept is that you have her character works as a forensic pathologist. So she basically examines a bunch of like people that have kind of died in weird and strange ways, and she comes to find out that these people were actually murdered through like supernatural creatures. And she goes out during the daytime. She does all the researching and stuff, and at nighttime she goes out and she dispatches these guys, and you know cuts their heads off using a giant axe that's been endowed with hellfire and all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of like an action horror film concept. I want to eventually pr- do a dress for it so that maybe pitch it as a film or as a animated series or as a TV show. But it kind of has, think of like if you ever seen the show Grimm. It's like
Yeah,
Grimm with like Power Rangers. You always have like a big boss at the end that you always have to like dispatch type of thing. So
right. With
that's
like
kind of going to be the theme.
more obvious horror elements too, from
More
what you're
obvious
telling
horror
me.
elements.
Okay. Very cool.
I think this one's pretty cool. I bought this off somebody, and it ended up being a I want to say a print that he did for it, but it's slightly different from this one.
Oh, very cool.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that one.
Oh man, Gwen with the Spider-Man umbrella. I like it. Okay. That is a nice one.
I believe it's my only Gwen outside of a like Spider Gwen,
Oh,
or because we actually had this conversation about this one, but before there actually was a Gwenum. Uh, one of my mentor actually is the one that I believe commissioned this one. This one is an actual AP as well.
very cool. So this was done before Marvel came up with their standard Gwenum design.
I think by
Yeah.
about a year or two.
Very cool. Yeah, and see now that there's like an accepted Gwenum, people are gonna channel that, you know, from now on. So this is gonna stand out more because it did come from that period where it was just an idea.
See here, I got another one that a mentor had originally commissioned, and I finally got it in my hands. Anytime I can see anything that are like APs that are for sale, I try and grab them if I can because they're just it's his top notch work for sure.
Yes, I've actually posted that one before. Um, I think that was on the original account, and I think I posted it as a sketch market report. You got is this one you picked up off of eBay?
This one was, I believe, through eBay. Yeah,
I
I have seen the pencils of this, so and that's something. It looks way different, just before before final products. That's is interesting.
Yeah, that is a good one, and I do remember actually posting that when sale took place. Didn't know you were the buyer at that time, but very good pickup. I like that one.
These are some of the newer ones that he did for me this year when I finally got to meet him for the first time at MegaCon. Um, he really put some work in on these.
Okay. I still think we could see Null on the big screen. I do.
I
And
hope so.
Marvel, I like the fact that they are being somewhat thoughtful before they just kind of spam them all over the place. They're showing some restraint with their use of the character. So
I'm pretty sure to some degree Sony has a lot of pushback with Marvel about these kind of things
yeah,
because the only IP right now that I think they have that's kind of successful is the Venom one.
yeah.
So it would be nice for them to eventually get to this point. I know here coming up, we're about to see Null come back. I think during the Venom Wars, so that's something I guess to look positive to for the character.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool piece.
This one has to be, uh, I mean, just the idea behind it, is definitely very Spiderverse feel to it.
Okay. Now, Jose, I mean, obviously with your fans, they prefer the ladies in general over some of the male
Oh yeah.
characters.
Hmm.
But is this I think this is one of the only times I've seen you draw Miles.
It is.
Yeah. Actually, I believe
Okay.
that's my first one.
Okay,
Well,
wow.
wait a minute. Actually, yes, the first sketch cover.
Okay.
I did one a long time ago. For a client by name of Yaw. He wanted to do a personal piece for himself at him as Miles Morales holding. Was it him? No, no, no. He wanted a Miles Morales holding like a baby, like almost
Okay.
like but in like with his face, and then the outfit on, almost like he just finished getting off of work, and he's like coming home at night and like holding his baby type of thing, which I thought was very endearing as like a watercolor piece that I did for him, and it was still one of my favorites to this day. But that is my very first Miles Morales sketch cover that I've done. So he's got the first one.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I made
So
sure to reach out and ask him like what characters that you haven't done or
No,
want to do, and this was definitely one that stood out for me. Um, so yeah, I'm glad he did that. I know this
yes.
one would be his first one, and he's gonna say any another one, but we already know what it is because this is the year of the jackpot for me. So
Okay.
the
There you
jackpot.
go.
That was the first, definite first one, definite first one.
I really like the composition on this one. I mean, the coloring always catches my eye when it comes to Jose's work, but with this, I mean, that the dominance of that royal blue background and then the way the pink around her hands kind of goes with it. The flowing energy of the white, like that's I really, really like this piece. This is great. And that was done by Scott Hanna, the pencils and inks.
no, no, he just signed it. I ain't gonna say,
Oh, okay.
I just know anything that Junior. I really wish Junior was at this show because it would have been nice to have him and Scott on it. I mean, it's between them and Zeb Wells. I'm obviously is the writer. And I want to say Ramos probably had something to do with the creation of at least the design of the character. Um, I mean, it's hard to say other than Zeb being, the obvious like creator of the character, but everything else is kinda up for debate.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, just wanted to be clear. Jose actually is responsible for the entire piece,
All of it.
Yeah,
but Phil is getting the creative team behind the character to sign some of these pieces because again, Jackpot Mary Jane is Jackpot being
right.
relatively new to the Spider-Man universe.
Pretty sure this is, like, the 2nd or 3rd iteration of the character, so, but first, I think, as a female, so that really counts for anything.
Got it. Well, more than anything is Mary Jane with powers. I mean, that's what's going
I
to,
think it's pretty neat, but some people
stick
seem to
with
be giving
people.
a lot of flack about it. I don't they're like, "Oh, it's typical Marvel." I think it looks cool, she looks good. She already has the red hair, now she's got more red. It looks even better that way for me, you
Yeah.
know?
I
And
always
then
come
these glasses, that are just, like, futuristic looking,
I just think we all know that when it's time to hit the reset button, we'll get Mary Jane as we've known her. But it's interesting, it does change the dynamic between her and Peter when you know that she has powers. And I know we've discussed before, Phil, too. I do think Marvel, DC, they study each other. I think that Bruce Wayne, Selena Kyle, two superheroes or a superhero anti-hero mix. Marvel wanted some of that.
Definitely
We could get
so.
Spider-Man and have his main lady also be super powered. They wanted to give it a go. Is it classic Mary Jane? No, but it's interesting. So we'll see what else they do with
Yeah.
it.
All right. Well, this one it's just another Sam piece. This is one of my first ones I did with Sam. Um, he went all out for me on this one.
Very cool Green Goblin. Got a nice mix of the city in focus, and then the city kind of in silhouette in the dark back there. I like it.
And then it's like even so much so, like even his signature is slightly different than what it normally is too. That's a little something extra for me to know about.
Oh, unique sig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little different from the one he usually does, where I feel like he sits there and takes like 10 minutes on it or something.
Yeah, there's different kinds of signatures. There's the ones that I put on the covers and stuff, and then the ones that I pay the checks with. So
Yeah.
it's
Which is smart. You want to make sure those are different. You definitely do.
Oh, this one, Sam, did this one for my daughter, and then I just had Jose do it. I think we did this one last year. Well, I actually have a
Oh,
Gwenum that he colored anyway.
that is pretty interesting. Okay. I it took me a second to catch exactly what was going on with the hood there. But all right, I do. He came up with a unique take on it, like because the way that the tongue kind of blends a little bit with the hood, and then there's background. Okay,
I mean, I feel like essentially this is just his remark that he put a little more time in and made it the whole cover instead of just like
got it,
his regular Venom. And then I also made sure to ask for the rose. I always feel like that's a cool touch from Sam.
got it.
We got another one here's from Kincaid. This one only was a pencil, and then everything else was what a Jose and I was really taken back by just the background he put on it. I was like I wouldn't even thought it to do that, but
Oh, I like that Gwen also. This is Ryan Kincaid,
that's all his pencils.
and the background also. This is
Yeah,
really
that
good.
was all. Yeah, that part was Jose for sure.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, Jose. Yeah, you took that to the next level then. I like the
appreciate that.
Gwen, but the silhouetted Spider Gwen or Ghost Spider back there, that makes all the difference. So Ryan did his thing, but like you
I
made
mean,
that look publishable.
Thank
definitely
you.
those lines definitely put it together. I used to have another one that was really nice that was just a pencil too. That was a black cat. It was like a boss, and he made it pop off of just the pencils. These are some new ones we got here. He actually just posted these recently, and this one's from Andolfo.
Oh, Merca, okay.
It's really crazy that you got all this vibrant pink in the background like that to really highlight the white on the costume.
It's very cool. It definitely I could tell it's Merca just because of some of the line work, but it's funny. For whatever reason, I thought of freaking Orko from Masters of the Universe. Just because the way the hood drapes a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah.
I was like, is that Gwen like Spider Gwen as a wizard a little bit? But yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. So that's a cool one.
And then we got the other one. This one's probably like one of my favorites that I have from Andolfo.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah, that is
Everyone
a
goes nuts for the Mary Jane. I don't know what it is about Mary Jane over Gwen.
It's
You know, I
the redhead.
yeah,
She's a
it's
redhead.
always red, right?
Not only that, I mean, to me, like red is a great hair color to work on. If you see a lot of one of my favorite characters to draw that for some reason people have kind of associated with me has been Jessica Rabbit. So,
Definitely.
and I mean, I love working on redheads because of the vibrant colors. You can go from like red to you can go purple for dark, you go red, orange, yellows. Like you could really make that like pop. And then, so like with that one, I did a little bit of like a secondary light source in blue to kind of like give your eye a little bit of breathing room so
I
you see
definitely
that
see it.
warmth.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think it just it hits like definitely like you do enough of these, you're like, okay, what's next? But this one, I looked at it a lot, and I'm like, okay, today I was in a good space in my head. Everything aligned exactly the way I wanted to. Nothing was forced, and this is what came out of it. So that was a good piece. That's a sweet piece.
You can see the TLC that you put into it, and it definitely with the facial features, I could see Merca in there. So very, very nice part of the collection there.
Like, I
Yeah.
already know
Hey,
when it comes to New York, I'm gonna do Jackpot with her this year. That's I
I could, and listen, we'll
it's
get
Will
a.
it's
I see
mine.
another jackpot in my future? Is that what you're telling me?
You know,
Like I'm gonna
it's
be
funny, not just color. You know, it's funny. Like when I did this new sketch up with you, I was literally debating on doing another Jackpot. It's like I don't know. Like I'm literally gonna be the forthcoming guy of at least for Jackpot in the sketch realm. I don't know what it was at MegaCon that made me just get that feeling that this is what I'm doing. But yeah, now it's just this year. Hopefully it won't go into next year. But I'm
yeah.
definitely trying to. I'm gonna go big at New York, so it's gonna be
I'll
something to
just
see.
I'll just say if we end up with a situation where Jackpot does turn up and another prominent piece of Spider-Man media, like in a video game or of course in a movie,
It's gonna
you
go
def
crazy.
oh it will go crazy, and you definitely would have the most jackpot art of any collector I know of.
Yeah.
So you're getting in early pretty much. You're buying Microsoft in
Yeah.
91. That's
All we
that's
need is like
basically what
a
you're
special
doing.
appearance of Jackpot in the next Venom movie
Oh
or
my
something like
god,
that, and then there you
wouldn't
go.
that be
You're
something?
done.
Oh my god, I don't even
If
want to
you're
think about it.
if you're Sony though, I mean, it makes sense to try to get every variation of the popular characters you can
Hmm.
up on the screen at some point or another.
I
So do I
mean,
think that's Spider-Man 4? No, but can I see it happening at some point? Yes, I definitely
Oh
can
yeah.
see them wanting to do it.
maybe they just gonna actually do a Spiderverse, and we'll get Spider Gwen at least. I see that happening.
Yeah,
We might
yeah.
actually get like Spider Woman. We might get
I mean,
instead of just
we got
we got
Julia
Carpenter.
Carpenter. Right. I mean, like if we got her, I mean, any of the Spider-Man characters, the costume, side heroes are in play. And obviously, Miles, they got
Miles
to
would be
go
the one.
there
Yep.
sooner rather than later. So,
Hmm. Yeah. That's well, it's the way things are going. You have um a lot more openings or opportunities for like female superhero characters. You've seen it with Disney trying to pour a lot of their intellectual properties and move them in the more feminine direction. She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, the Marvels, all of those. So I could see that. I could see that in the future. I could see a standalone Spider Gwen movie. I could see a standalone, Jackpot movie. I could totally see that in the future.
yeah, especially because we're talking about with Jackpot, it's an established character, Mary Jane, but Mary Jane now is doing the superhero thing. With Gwen, you loved her in animated form. You can bring her to live action. There's an audience there waiting to see that character in live action.
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
Oh,
Oh
that's a
yeah.
cool, very cool Doc Ock. Classic Doc Ock.
And the thing I always thought was really funny is the fact that he's got that cigar and just how just those little subtle details. He definitely caught it, and
Little bit of city skyline in the back
yep.
too, or the rooftop over there. Basically, I think it's a very, very cool classic Doc Ock.
This next thing here, we got Andres Cruz. We had the Silver Sable.
Oh yeah, I think I remember this one. This one I think you showed me.
This one was done at MegaCon
Very
or
cool.
pickup for MegaCon anyway. I worked on this. It took maybe I put it like a year's time into this. Like over a couple just sessions of just getting stuff done.
Mhm.
It's a hassle when you're not everyone's not at the same show. I wish it was that easy, but unless like you're an actual witness for like one of the big two, that it's really hard to do stuff like this like that.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of time, planning. But I gotta say that combination, Andres and Jose, I really like that. Like I think that might be one of the best Andres sketch covers I've seen. And a lot of that goes back to the coloring and just what you bring to the table. Your sensibilities seem to complement his line work a lot. So
Thank you.
that was a standout that I didn't expect to be a standout. That was cool.
It's just as much as when I had him do a Centera for me, and he did of course end up posting it, and then Jose did get wind of it and seen it on Instagram, and yeah, so I mean, it's really neat to see, especially characters like that you don't see often. I'm pretty sure there isn't too many people outside of maybe like Kickstarters where the artists are doing something for them that they're actually drawing the character. So um,
How do you
yeah,
feel about that, Jose? Like other artists drawing your character, Centera.
I don't really have a problem with that. I think like everything else, it's just free advertising. Um, you know, it all depends on how you look at it and your perspective. As long as you are respectful with the content of involved with that character, then I see it as more like just fan art or as an homage or something like that, which is great. It's when you start seeing like some like not so flattering you know um, interpretations of the character, and that's why you look at somebody like Brian Palato with Lady Death, who is very territorial about that character,
Right.
and doesn't want people to take that character and kind of like besmirch the image because he's worked so hard to build that brand.
Of course.
So one of the things that I've always felt that within the realm of independence, independent publishers, independent artists, anybody that's doing stuff on their own, that's putting it out there, you can only end up, if you do things right, if you try and draw something that maybe somebody else's character or whatnot, you are doing them a service if you do it in the right way because it just brings awareness to that character. Just like every so often I'll be asked to do a Lady Death sketch cover. And I've had people ask me really outlandish requests for it. And I say, listen, I can't do this character. I can't have her topless. I can't have her doing anything inappropriate. I can't have her doing any like, full nudity. I can have her wearing sexy outfits and stuff like that because that's who the character is. But it's all goes back to respecting the other independents' vision of that character. And I think if we do that, then all we're doing is we're just elevating their brand rather than tearing it down. So when I do a Lady Death piece, I have no problem. I always tag Coffin Comics official. Always. I've never gotten anything negative about them or anything like that when it comes to that. When it comes to me doing an art book or a sketch or anything that I do as a published cover, I publish nothing that I draw for that character. And I've even told them, so you'll look at you could flip through all my art books, you'll never see one Lady Death publication because it's a one-off piece of fan art that I'm doing for somebody. That's a different story. But if I'm publishing it and I'm making money off of it, off of the likeness, then that's a big problem.
Understood. Okay. Thank you for giving folks out there some insight into just, I guess, the best way to play with others that share your sandbox. The other independent comic publishers and artists out there. Everybody has kind of gotten to the point where they understand the power of their own IP.
Hmm.
So it's great to work on stuff that's big two related, image related, but it's also important down the line to develop your own characters. And there's a respectful way, to kind of draw another creator's character and shed light, on what's there, and then also bring attention to your own artistry where nobody's offended or feels like, you don't get what that character means to that person, that
Right.
publisher, etc.
All right. Well, this next one, it was literally just inks, and then he ended up adding the Venom in the background and the colors.
Now, who did this one?
This is Hannah. He just did the ink to Mary Jane. That was it.
Okay, pencils was Hannah too, or
Yeah, it was pencils and inks.
pencils and inks by Scott Hannah? Okay.
I mean, it just really blows my mind that he just decided to put that back there. It wasn't even something I asked. He just does it, and it looks great. This is like one of my top 5 pieces, especially because I got John on it. And
Right.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
just that Venom just looks like a symbiote or like goo, coming off of it.
absolutely. Yeah, Jose, I think you really made this one.
Thank you.
The placement of that symbiote in the back just takes this to another level.
I appreciate that.
Oh, this is cool. Now, who drew this?
This is Hannah, all Hannah.
All Hannah. Okay, pencils, inks. And this take on Mary Jane is Venom. I believe it was really Joe Quinones who first had a published cover
I
with
think it's
this
something that looks like
particular.
this. Yeah. Um, this one was done here at MegaCon this year. I tell you what, I go grab this from Hannah's table, and I bring it over. He had this thing completed the next day. It really blows my mind how he went and put the purples on this one here because this is such a new character at the time that I wouldn't have thought that was what it would come out of.
Now, this is Gold Goblin?
Correct.
Right. Okay. Because and I'm trying to remember the order. There was Red Goblin, then Gold Goblin. Okay.
And now they're
Well,
just going back to Green. He's going to be going back to Green Goblin at some point because now they're doing like a prequel with the Photo Goblin, which is like the first person who had the serum before Norman did.
Okay. That sounds interesting. Like the test subject who took the
Hmm.
Yeah,
serum.
he kind of looks like Blanca from Street Fighter,
That's
Eh,
interesting.
but
Okay.
he's red. He kind of that's what he reminds me of anyway. But this
Pretty
one
cool.
this one was really nice. And I had this one. I had to get a Spider Boy from Hannah.
Nice.
Pretty cut and dry. I tell you what, that blue looks, very
Yeah,
saturated, but with details to it.
Yeah,
very cool.
that was basically shaping the body out using color and just slowly building up the blue. There's I think there's like 4 different tones of blue in there. Um, and just like slowly building and letting it, you know, giving it a few minutes and then building it again over and over again, and that's how you get it to pop like that. Because not all the blues are like that. The blues are sometimes are so transparent that you have to kind of like put several layers on top to get it to that level, as opposed to like red or yellow that are already pretty bright colors to begin with. Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah, it's a really strong Spider Boy. It also made me realize how much of his design is reminiscent of Ted Cord Blue Beetle. Like not the current, not Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle, but the Silver Age, Bronze Age Blue Beetle. I
Yeah.
think Marvel drew some inspiration
I'm
from that
I'm
look.
kind of curious. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm almost certain like that's Ramos's um thought.
Design.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's his design outside of Slot. Because I think they did it for that one issue in Spider-Man, and then now they're doing Spider-Man. I think that's what Ramos is on with
Okay.
Delgado and Olasba. Um, yeah, it's cool. Now, I mean, like, now we're in the year of the sidekicks because not only do we have Spider Boy now, we got some new ones that came out, Spider
Right.
Woman issue. So, like a Moon Knight kick, sidekick and whatnot.
There are yes, I think now more than ever they're realizing if these things do go to series or have films made, we have to flesh out the supporting cast, because you can't just have other big name characters show up all the time. So that seems to be like a mandate that's coming from the upper levels of editing. Like everybody needs the best friend, the next door neighbor, the rival at work. Like a lot of these things are like coming in
Yeah.
droves right now from Marvel. And to me, it seems to really be driven by the idea of, can this character have their own kind of like universe around them, where if we had to watch 6 episodes of the show, you don't need Captain America to pop up. So
Right.
lots of supporting characters seem to be showing up in all the books lately.
Of
I, I
course.
can't I can't tell you how many times I'm sure he had used the same colors throughout that weekend.
Yes. Yes. I was filling the reds up several times. Like those Copen markers come with refills, and I think I burned through an entire refill
Oh
just
my!
to fill those books. But
Well, it was a good use of markers because it's vibrant, very, very nice look to it.
Very
Um,
Scott Hanna. I mean, I don't know if you really want to say it's really more Scott style, or if it could be a little more
it
on the
complements
junior side.
Scott's style. It works well with it. Like I could tell it's not Jose's pencils, but you could see both artists really like what they bring to the table in this piece.
All right, here comes the big ones in my eyes. Of course, I got this one at MegaCon too, and it's another jackpot.
Stanley Art Germ Lau. Okay.
that was the
I
first time I
like
ever
it.
colored over art germ.
I like this one. Again, I like the choice of not necessarily, flooding the entire background with color. The section with the pink perfectly highlights what's going on with the hair and the face, so it doesn't really draw attention away from the excellent color work that she did on Jackpot herself, but again does a nice job of making sure that the character pops and it does fit in. And I see that you did integrate some of that pink on the body also.
Yes. Yes. This particular one was a little more nerve wracking because, like I said, I never really worked with art germ before. I think I did one rogue art
The
germ
Rogue, I've seen it.
piece that
Nice one.
that yeah, there was like in New York Comic Con a long time ago, and then this is the second one I've ever done. And like when you work with art germ, you there his line work is just it's sublime, but it's also open to interpretation because not all the lines connect, and you're kind of like going, okay, well, this is where's this going, where's that going, how do I make this continue to be an art germ piece without me over joseing it. And that's always the biggest struggle, like especially when I'm coloring over somebody else's work, is that I have to make sure that it's not a Jose piece, but Jose coloring over the main star of the show, which is the artist, the inker, the penciler, whoever it is.
I think you did a
That's
phenomenal job of that with
you
that
know,
Thank
I,
you.
I think this is something I would bring up because I brought up to Jose at the show, and I thought it was just very silly that I did win 2 lotteries for Art Germ, and one of them he would not do his portion on it because I had already got a piece, but it was for the cheaper version instead of, and I had got a chance to do the more expensive one that he offered for the second one, and it was refused. Um, I just it's really weird. It's like someone wants to walk away from $1,800, and then not actually give it to somebody else.
Yeah, that's the kicker to me. He didn't let somebody else actually take the slot, which maybe he was
I don't
tired.
understand.
I don't know.
I mean, it's like I hear so many different stories when I go to especially at cons. Like the weirdest stuff always happens at cons, and people come and they share their stories or their experiences with me, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, oh, so and so was like this, or so and so didn't let me do this, or I'm like, okay, it's
Right. Because again, there are a lot of different factors. I've seen situations where somebody's been very like pleasant to deal with and everything is cool. And then they run into somebody who they have an unpleasant history with. And then you see something
mm,
else, sometimes with like the panel discussions and maybe like some of the bigger websites that do interviews, they have a commitment there. And then like, oh, well, I can't really talk about that right now. Like you're having a decent conversation with them, but like, no, I can't really comment. And maybe they cut you off and you're like, well, what's that about? Well, that's supposed to be announced at the panel discussion. That's going to
right,
get all this attention a
right,
little bit
right,
later.
right.
There's just like a lot of different reasons why things play out the way they do at cons. Thank you for checking out the Fandamn Collectibles YouTube channel. If you like this content, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and stay tuned because we'll be back before you know it.
You know what would have been great if on the opposite side, instead of having a boot, he would have like flip flops or something like that,
Yeah.
like just like a big old toe with like a gnarled nail, and just like Latin flip flops on, and just like nothing, just something really weird, and just nothing to do with him.
It's like if you flip to the back, you're going to get a show.
Exactly.
If you happen
You
to
know,
look, we got something for you here.
big old hairy calf. Just